HR Basics is a series of short courses designed to highlight what you need to know about a particular human resource management topic. In today's HR Basics, we explore workplace conflict, understanding conflict modes people bring to work, and conflict management strategies. Workplace conflict occurs when the concerns of two or more people appear to be incompatible. Conflict is completely natural. It's the result of miscommunication, unclear expectations, differing perspectives or interests, or limited resources, and conflict itself is neutral. Anytime people work together, conflict is part of doing business. Conflict is a normal part of any workplace and organization. When it occurs, there's a tendency for morale to be lowered, an increase in absenteeism, and a decrease in productivity. In our discussion of workplace conflict, we will consider conflict modes and conflict management strategies. Let's take a look. People typically handle conflict in specific ways, known as conflict modes. No mode or style is better or worse than any other, they're just different. We all have ways we naturally respond to conflict situations, influenced by our personality, upbringing, and culture. Let's explore some of the most common ways people deal with conflict. Because no two individuals have exactly the same expectations and desires, conflict is a natural part of our interaction with others. The Thomas Kilmann instrument, known as the TKI, is an assessment that identifies 5 common styles or strategies for dealing with conflict, called conflict modes. The TKI was designed to illustrate the options we have when handling a conflict. The TKI defines 5 approaches to resolving conflict. We'll get to those in a minute. The TKI is a fast and accessible tool, delivering insight, empowerment, and resolution to anyone involved in a conflict. By identifying alternative conflict styles, it helps people reframe and defuse conflict, creating more productive results. The TKI is designed to measure a person's behavior in conflict situations. Conflict situations are those in which the concerns of two people appear to be incompatible. In such situations, we can describe an individual's behavior along 2 dimensions: assertiveness, the extent to which the person attempts to satisfy his or her own concerns, and cooperativeness, the extent to which the person attempts to satisfy the other person's concerns. There are 5 modes that we can use to address workplace conflict. Competing, where the goal is to win; collaborating, working together to find a mutually beneficial solution; compromising, finding middle ground; avoiding, hiding from the conflict, hoping it will go away; and accommodating, surrendering your needs to please the other. The competing mode is assertive and uncooperative, pursuing your own concerns at the other person's expense using whatever power seems appropriate. Competing might mean standing up for your rights, defending a position you believe is correct, or simply trying to win. The competing mode is at the top left of the model, which means that an individual takes a wholly assertive and uncooperative approach to resolving conflict. It means standing up for your rights, defending a position you believe is correct, and trying to beat the other side. An individual pursues his or her own concerns at the other's expense. This is a power-oriented mode in which you use whatever power seems appropriate to win your own position. When is it appropriate to use competing? When the goal is to win, a quick, decisive action is needed, the issue is very important to you, and you are an expert in the area compared to the others involved. The collaborating mode is assertive and cooperative, working with the other person to find a solution that fully satisfies the concerns of both. It involves digging into an issue to find an alternative that meets both sets of concerns. The collaborating mode is at the top right of the model, which means an individual takes an assertive yet cooperative approach. It means being willing to believe that in an impasse, it's possible for both sides to come out with what they want. Collaborating requires mutual respect, a willingness to listen to others, and creativity in finding solutions. Collaborating may take the form of exploring a disagreement to learn from each other's insights, or trying to find a creative solution to an interpersonal problem. When is it appropriate to use collaborating? When the goal is participation, both sets of concerns are too important to be compromised, insights are needed from different perspectives, to increase stakeholders' commitment to solutions, and for long-term major issues. The compromising mode is moderate in both assertiveness and cooperativeness, finding an expedient, mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both parties. Compromising falls on middle ground and might mean splitting the difference or exchanging concessions. The compromising mode is at the center of the model because it's both assertive and cooperative, but only to some extent. Both sides get something, but not everything. The objective is to find some expedient, mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both parties. In some situations, compromise might mean splitting the difference between two positions, exchanging concessions, or seeking a quick middle ground solution. When is it appropriate to use compromising? When the goal is to find a middle ground, when those goals are moderately important to both parties, and they're not worth potential disruption of more assertive modes, when two equally strong parties are committed to mutually exclusive goals and to increase expediency. The avoiding mode is unassertive and uncooperative, not immediately pursuing your own concerns or those of the other person. Avoiding might take the form of diplomacy, sidestepping the issue, postponing the issue until a better time, or simply withdrawing from a threatening position. The avoiding mode is at the bottom left of the model, which means an individual takes an unassertive and uncooperative approach to conflict. They just don't deal with it. When is it appropriate to use avoiding? When the goal is to delay. For trivial situations, when there's no chance of getting what you want, the potential risk of confrontation outweighs benefits of a resolution, and other better places to resolve the issue are available to you. The accommodating mode is unassertive and cooperative, neglecting your own concerns to satisfy the concerns of the other person. Accommodating might take the form of selfless generosity, obeying the other person's order when you prefer not to, or yielding to another person's point of view. The accommodating mode is at the bottom right of the model, which means the individual takes a wholly unassertive and cooperative approach. When is it appropriate to use accommodating? When the goal is to yield, when the issue is much more important to the other party, to limit damage of continued conflict, to bank favors, and when you're in the wrong. Each of us is capable of using all 5 conflict handling modes. None of us can be characterized as having a single mode of dealing with conflict, but certain people use some modes better than others and, therefore, tend to rely on those modes more heavily. Your conflict behavior in the workplace is a result of both your personal predispositions and the requirements of the situation you find yourself in. The TKI is designed to measure this mix of conflict handling modes. Managed well, conflict is necessary and productive. In teams that engage in productive conflict, the most important and difficult issues are discussed and resolved. It's been estimated that managers spend at least 25% of their time responding to workplace conflicts. Handling and resolving conflicts that arise in the workplace is one of the biggest challenges managers and employees face. Dealing with conflict head-on is challenging for many people, yet few teams spend time explicitly considering how will we work together when things get rocky. Leaders need to build the skills to navigate teams through conflict together. Arriving at a positive resolution of conflict is always the ultimate goal. In resolving conflict, it is important to make sure you do the following. Clearly articulate the causes of conflict, openly acknowledging that there will be differing perspectives of the problems. Make a clear statement of why you want the conflict resolved and the reasons to work on the problem. Communication of how you want the conflict resolved. Address the issues face to face. Stick to the issues. In trying to resolve the conflict, it's tempting to resort to name-calling or bringing up issues from the past. It is important to address specific behaviors and situations if change is to take place. Take time out if necessary. In resolving a conflict, our emotions may interfere with arriving at a productive resolution. If this transpires, take a time out and resume resolving the conflict at another designated time. There are many causes or reasons for conflict in any work setting, including the following. Poor communication, where different communication styles lead to misunderstandings between employees or between an employee and manager. A lack of communication drives conflict underground. Different values. Any workplace is made up of individuals who see the world differently. Conflict occurs when there's a lack of acceptance and understanding of these differences. Differing interests. Conflict occurs when individual workers fight for their personal goals, ignoring organizational goals and organizational well-being. Scarce resources. Too often, employees feel that they have to compete for available resources in order to do their job. In a resource-scarce environment, this causes conflict, despite awareness of how scarce resources may be. Personality clashes. All work environments are made up of differing personalities. Unless colleagues understand and accept each other's approach to work and problem solving, conflict will occur. And poor performance. When one or more individuals within a work unit are not performing, not working up to potential, and this is tolerated and not addressed, conflict is inevitable. Conflicts do not exist in a vacuum. Any conflict situation has influencing factors. The importance of the cause, the amount of time available, and the value of the relationship between parties play an important part. Assessing these factors can help us determine which conflict mode is likely to be the most effective in managing the situation. The importance. How important is this issue to me? Time. Do we have enough time to fully address the situation? And relationship. How much do I value the relationship? Use this simple formula to determine which conflict mode to use to manage conflict at work. Importance plus time plus relationship equals conflict mode. Conflict is inevitable at work. By understanding how you and others prefer to and can best approach conflict, we will all be able to manage our work together more effectively.